Well, folks, I'm still not over my cold, but I am feeling a bit better already, so on with the show. And now we're moving on to, of course, the second of 10 special projects builds in pack number 3 for this month. And this time, it is a car that I've done, I believe, in Gran Turismo Sport as well. I think I did a special projects build for this one, a MiNEs R34 N1. Of course, there are a couple of different MiNEs Skylines in the Gran Turismo series. This is the one that I'm going for. We're referencing Gran Turismo 6, once again, in terms of the spec, and there is one change that I've made over what the person who made this livery did, which is changing the wheels, because the wheels that they used didn't really match, in my opinion, but apart from that, I like what they've done. I'll slap, of course, their name up on screen, and if you click the link down in the description, it'll take you straight to Gran Turismo, where you can add it to your library. Now, as far as the actual tuning parts go, of course, if we jump down into the upgrade shop, this is one of those builds where I fitted a couple of different exhausts to see which one looked the best and had, the right amount of power. So I've gone for the racing one, just before we get to that. But for now, obviously, you don't want it to be too far into racing territory. So I did buy the sports silencer, but like I said, you won't need that. We've gone for the sports brakes, stage 1 weight reduction. We've left it on sports hard tyres because, again, I want it to have more of that road car vibe. As far as the club sports, we've got the sports brakes, the stage 2 weight, power restrictor is fitted, and ballast is available as well. We've got the racing crank, the fully customised computer. Again, you don't need the semi-racing silencer. The low RPM turbo. One of the reasons for that is I wanted it to have that instant punch with next to no lag. And then we've got the semi-race clutch and flywheel, fully customised LSD, or diff, of course. Then as far as the racing stuff, we've got polished ports, balanced tuning, the race intercooler, as I said, the race silencer, and then as far as the rest, we've got the suspension. I would recommend having the torque vectoring center diff, because I've got this one set up as a 50-50 split. And then as far as the extreme section, there is nothing fitted there at all. So if we jump over then into the visual side in GT Auto, I'll show you the rims that I fitted, because when you download the player's livery, you'll notice it has black wheels. I've changed it to these rims, which are, if I scroll down, these BBS RGFs, which to me at least look more accurate to what the premium version in particular of the MiNEs Skyline had in the older games. Aside from that though, I like what they've done. Then if we jump back into the garage, of course, for the tuning side, and then jump into our settings. Of course, we have the sports hard still fitted. As far as the suspension, I've dropped the ride height to 98mm front and back, so it's not crazy low. Again, I wanted it to look accurate to the other car. We've got the anti-roll on 4 and 6, with 36 for the compression on the dampers, 44 on the rebound, 2.85 on the frequency, so a little bit higher than average for a more street spec vehicle, 1.5 degrees of camber, 20 toe in on the rear, and only 5 toe out on the front. As far as the diff, this probably won't suit everyone, but what I would recommend is give this one a try. If, for example, last month you enjoyed my tune for the Mitsubishi FQ440, try this one, try what I've done. It has a similar kind of feel to it, and then if you don't like it, you can always change the numbers. So I would recommend the lowest settings on the rear, and then 20, 20, and 60 on the front, with a 50-50 split. And the reason why I've gone for that is because the car is super planted, a little bit of understeer through corners, so slightly on the heavier side, but then when you exit the corner, especially in conjunction with the low RPM turbo, it gives you that explosive launch. You can kind of kick the tail out a little bit and have a lot of fun with it while being tremendously quick. And of course, one of my biggest goals with the car is to make it, if possible, about as quick as the real car is. In real life, the MiNEs Skyline can get around Tsukuba in under a minute. And I can confirm, spoiler alert, this tune, at least when I drove it, and plenty of you guys are faster than me anyway, I got it around Tsukuba in under a minute as well. So it is about accurate to real life, which is pretty nice to know. For the transmission, that is standard. Not bad to do to Tsukuba even, in under a minute with a standard transmission. We've got the power restrictor untouched. As I said, I do like to fit that usually just so you've got the option, for a particular race or online lobby, whatever the case may be. You want to add 14 kilos of ballast to bring us up to the Gran Turismo 6 weight of 1,340. Then I would recommend putting that all the way to the back. It brings us a little bit closer to a center bias, but still much, much more heavy over the front end. We've got a 99% ECU restriction because, again, going by those Gran Turismo 6 specs, it's got like 591 horsepower, so you could lower it a bit more, but then it drops it too much. It goes down to 587, so I've opted to be a little bit higher than it should be. You'll have to decide for yourself if you want to do that or not. And as far as the downforce, I've set that as high as it can go on both the front and the back. Again, that's down to you if you want a bit more top-end speed or whatever the case may be. As you can see, we've got the low RPM turbo and all of these other parts fitted, as you could see earlier on. So all that remains, obviously, is to jump over to Tsukuba, and then I can show you what the car is like in practice. Now, like I said, this build specifically, I would say, when it comes to the diff settings, the LSD, won't necessarily suit everyone, because it's a bit heavier on the front than you'd expect a Skyline to be. So like I said, give it a try. If you don't like what I've done there, because I think as far as everything else that I've done, there's not really too much not to like, but if you don't like the diff, absolutely change it. But give it a try first, see what you think. It definitely makes the car have a unique handling signature. It feels much more unique than an R34 usually does, totally different kind of machine, and at the end of the day, you want it to feel different. It's supposed to represent a different car. At the end of the day though, it is quick, it's super easy to drive, tremendously fast at 621 points with nearly 600 horsepower, and you could definitely use this thing to race with, even on those sports street level tyres. So if you do decide to use the build, obviously I hope you have a ton of fun with it. Give the creator of the design some love from me. Of course, check out the build I did earlier on today if you've missed that one. And of course, stick around for the rest of the week for the other 8 that I'm going to do as well. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.